welcome back. Or if this is your first time here, big love and respect for joining the squad. Smash that like and subscribe button if you vibe with the content.
So, the Houthis are at it again. Earlier today, they claimed they hit an Israeli military site near Tel Aviv and also went after a bunch of U.S. Navy ships, including the USS Harry S. Truman. But just like always, there's zero proof they actually hit anything. No confirmation from the U.S. or Israel, and the Houthis didn't show any real evidence.
Now the U.S. ain't playing. We brought out the B-2 bombers again to smash their hideouts. And yo, that's not even the craziest part. We got huge updates coming out of the Middle East.
The Houthis keep trying to launch attacks on Israel, but their missiles keep failing, straight up crashing into Saudi territory. And it looks like Saudi Arabia's finally had enough. Now they're clapping back. According to reports from the Houthis themselves, Saudi artillery is now pounding Houthi strongholds in Sada.
So in today's video, let's break down exactly what the Houthis are aiming for and why the U.S. is sending in the B-2s. And if you haven't already, hit that sub button so you don't miss a beat in this geopolitical chaos.
Now, the one hit the Houthis actually landed seems to be an American MQ-9 drone. And yeah, they dropped a video showing the wreckage. But get this, now they're claiming they hit way more targets, like some military spot in occupied Jaffa with drones, and even U.S. warships in the Red Sea. Again, none of this has been verified, and it honestly sounds like cap.
But we do know this. Open source intel shows the Houthis fired a ballistic missile at Israel, which completely failed and ended up crashing inside Saudi Arabia. It literally broke apart mid-air and dropped onto Saudi land. Not a good look. And this ain't the first time. This has happened multiple times just over the past few weeks. That's why Saudi Arabia finally stepped in and started hammering Houthi bases in Yemen.
Back to the U.S. Air Force. We rolled out the B-2 stealth bombers again. We even got footage of strikes in Sana'a, the capital of Yemen. Satellite images show where the B-2s dropped those bunker-busting bombs, right below a historic triangular-shaped fortress in Mount Nukum. Even Yemeni state TV reported the U.S. bombing that mountain, which is known to hide an underground complex used for storing missiles and advanced drones.
Just like Iran, a lot of groups in the Middle East use the same playbook, building underground bunkers to stash weapons and even protect their leaders. They do it to avoid U.S. airstrikes, but that's exactly why we bring out the B-2s. These stealth beasts were built to take out deep, fortified bunkers. In fact, the B-2 was originally designed to target specific underground nuclear facilities in a certain Middle Eastern country. I'll let you guess which one.
Anyway, we got a statement from Deputy Secretary of Defense Kathleen Hicks, where she breaks down the current ops in the Middle East. Here's the clip. It's been a rough 3 weeks for the Houthis, and it's only gonna get worse. We've been leveling everything from underground facilities to weapons factories to exposed air defense units, and we're not backing off. We'll keep hitting them harder until the Houthis stop launching attacks on our ships. We've also made it crystal clear to Iran, stop backing the Houthis. That message has been sent loud and clear.
So yeah, there are a lot more cards we can play, and we're already seeing the impact. Based on the reports, this campaign's been brutal for the Houthis, and especially for their leadership. In fact, even the Houthis have admitted some of their top leaders are gone. But they're trying to play it off, saying they died of heart attacks or natural causes instead of admitting they were smoked in airstrikes.
Like this one dude, Abdi al-Nasir Saharan al-Kamali, his family claimed he died of a heart attack. But anti-Houthi forces say nah, he was taken out in a U.S. airstrike. They even ID'd him. As a colonel in security intelligence, here's the real deal.
Since the start of this mission, known as Operation Rough Raiders, or more like Rough Raiders 2.0, we've been deep in it. Shout out to Teddy Roosevelt for the name inspiration.
It's now confirmed. Over 100 people have been taken out in Houthi-targeted strikes since mid-March. Let me break it down.
On March 15th, under the Trump administration, the US launched a massive military campaign focused on hitting Houthi leaders, command and control centers, key infrastructure, comms networks, tunnels, mountain bunkers, you name it.
And from March until now, confirmed death tolls based on Houthi funeral processions have officially crossed 100, just this week.
Now remember, the Houthis are backed by Iran, but at this point, they're not just acting as proxies. They've got their own ambitions, but they still rely on Iran.
Why? because their fancy anti-ship missiles and other high-grade weapons all come from Tehran. Without Iran, the Houthis wouldn't be able to challenge regional powers or even try to hit Israel. Speaking of Iran, President Trump recently announced that the US and Iran are heading into high-level talks in Oman this weekend. The talks will focus on Iran's support for terrorist groups in the Middle East and, of course, their nuclear program.
Trump confirmed these will be direct talks between US and Iranian delegations. But Iran hit back, saying nope, the first round will be indirect. That means Iran talks to Oman, Oman talks to us, and we rinse and repeat.
But Iran also said that if things go well, they're open to talking directly later on. Why now? Because the US just deployed 6 B-2 stealth bombers to Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean.
That base is way out of reach for Iranian missiles, but close enough for the B-2s to fly in, wreck Iran's nuclear sites, and fly out untouched. That's got Tehran seriously sweating, especially since the US has been running B-2 strike missions in Yemen without breaking a sweat.
That's why Iran's suddenly all ears in Oman. And now I'm turning it over to our guy Chuckfire to break down why the B-2 is such a beast, and how the new B-21 Raider is about to change the whole game.
Why the B-2 stealth bomber is a total freak of nature. The B-2 ain't just a bomber, it's a physics-defying ghost. Picture a bat-winged shadow with a 172-foot wingspan and zero tail. It's a flying wing, a concept pulled straight from Jack Northrop's sci-fi style designs from the 1940s. Now you'd think this thing would fly like a drunk bat in a wind tunnel. But nah, that's where the quad redundant fly-by-wire system kicks in. We're talking digital sorcery that makes this bird float like a dream. The B-2's onboard sensors and processors adjust 8 control surfaces in the blink of an eye, handling pitch, yaw, roll, you name it. The software running the whole show so clean it would make even the nerdiest coder weep tears of joy. It's electronics, no electromagnetic signature. Your iPhone? Yeah, it pings radar like crazy. The B-2 might as well be invisible to Sauron's eye. That's how clean it runs.
Now let's talk speed. It cruises at Mach 0.9, just under the speed of sound. But the real magic? It flies super low. We're talking 200 feet off the deck using its AN/APQ-181 radar to hug the terrain at 600 miles per hour. At that altitude, it's basically threading a needle through hell. It's not just flying, it's ghost riding through the battlefield. This thing blasts leaves off trees with its jet wash, hops over ridge lines to stay below enemy radar, and still hits targets with pinpoint accuracy. The crew? Just 2 pilots. No third seat, no extra eyes. They handle navigation, weapons, and systems through a set of multifunction displays, all while flying through blackout conditions, sometimes at supersonic speeds. It's less like piloting a plane and more like managing a freaking supercomputer with wings. The result? A symphony of stealth, precision, and raw dominance.
And the B-21 Raider? That's the next-gen ghost. It's out there, on the horizon, and it's about to rewrite everything we know about air superiority. The B-2, it doesn't just fly, it ghosts. We're talking about a bomber that can slip into no-fly zones and radar-locked airspace like it's strolling through a park. Stealth isn't just some buzzword for the B-2, it is the whole playbook. Now check this. The B-2's radar cross-section, it's classified. But insiders at the Pentagon estimate it's about 0.1 square inches, basically the size of a bumblebee. For comparison, the B-52's radar cross-section is about the size of a hangar door, over 100 square meters. A missile battery can lock onto that from 100 miles out.
So how the hell does the B-2 stay off the grid? Let's start with the shape. No sharp edges, no protrusions. Just clean, flowing curves that bounce radar signals around like a magician throwing distractions. The body is built from carbon fiber composites, aerodynamic thermoplastics, and other black-budget materials. Not only do these deflect radar, they actually absorb it. Then you've got the secret sauce radar absorbent coatings and custom paint jobs that eat up electromagnetic energy and throw out heat, not radar reflections. Now let's talk engines. 4. General Electric F-118S, each cranking out 17,300 pounds of thrust, are buried deep inside the wings. Exhaust is vented out the top through twisting channels to kill heat signatures and muffle the roar. Even the jet turbine blades, forged from single crystal metal alloys, built to handle ridiculous heat while not bouncing radar waves back. Antennas, retract into the skin, control surfaces, locked down in stealth mode. That matte gray paint, anti-reflective and custom blended to blend into the sky at 50,000 feet plus, and ground crews treat the B-2 like a diva on tour. Every scratch or ding is patched up immediately because even the tiniest flaw could ruin the stealth profile. End result? Enemy radar picks up a blip, maybe a glitch, and then nothing. There's no lock-on. The B-2 isn't invisible. It's just irrelevant to the sensors trying to find it. It's a shadow slipping through the net.
Now for a totally different kind of stealth op, so YouTube just dropped a bombshell. They're paying creators $64 million a day. Why? Because they straight up don't have enough creators right now. That's why you're seeing random videos with like 42 views popping up on your homepage. Now, I'm not saying everyone needs to start a YouTube channel, but if you've ever thought about it, or maybe wanted to run a faceless channel, now's the time. YouTube's paying more for new and small creators than ever before. And yeah, I get it. You've got questions. I get emails all the time from people asking stuff like, how do I start? How do I grow? What gear do I need? So we put everything you need into a free YouTube bootcamp. It's like a Zoom call, capped at 100 people per session, so sign up quick before it fills up. Just hit the link in the description or scan the QR code on your screen. Now, back to the battlefield.
Let's talk Ukraine versus the Russian invasion and how precision-guided munitions are leveling the playing field. We're talking bunker-buster bombs, built to rip through concrete, steel and reinforced earth before dropping their payloads. These are now key tools for Ukraine's Air Force, heading into year 3 of the war. Thanks to Western support, Kyiv's arsenal now includes everything from off-the-shelf solutions to highly modified systems with specialized fuses. Let's walk through them from entry-level to elite, starting with the humble JDAM and climbing up to Storm Shadow and Scalp, the heavy hitters.
JDAM, the unsung hero. The Joint Direct Attack Munition, or JDAM, is the Ukrainian Air Force's entry point for bunker busting. It's basically a bolt-on tail kit from Boeing that turns your grandpa's dumb bombs into all-weather GPS-guided smart weapons. Weight 500 to 2,000 pounds. Range about 15 miles or 28 kilometers. Accuracy 16 feet or 5 meters. It's cheap, it's reliable, and it works. You can slap it on old Mark 82, 83, or 84 bombs and boom, modern-day firepower. The Blue 109 warhead, a 2,000-pound beast, is the go-to for penetrating bunkers. It carries 550 pounds of explosives inside a steel casing 1 inch thick, designed to crack concrete before the FMU 143 tail fuse blows it all up on a delay. No, it doesn't have the range or punch of a Storm Shadow, but in Ukraine's tight airspace, JDAMs are clutch. Even old MiG-29S and Su-27S are being refitted to carry NATO bombs. In fact, on April 26, 2023, in Bakhmut, Ukrainian MiGs dropped 4 500-pound JDAMs that took out a Russian-held high-rise. They launched at an angle, then ducked back low. Drones caught the explosions. Impact fuses, not delayed, meaning it was likely a logistics or command center, not a buried bunker. The JDAM hit dead on, showing it can still mess up enemy ops even without fancy upgrades. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell. Here at X News, we're all about fresh updates and deep dives. Catch you in the next one. Take care and stay